Live. Folks, here we are, Wheelchair Wednesday. I'm your host, Wheelchair Rick. Good to see you. We do have a special guest today. I want to introduce a person that I'm not very familiar with. I mean, we just kind of talked recently, seen her on Spinal Cord Injury USA. Everybody, please give it up for my special guest, Miss Cindy Navarro. Oh, here she is. Wait a minute. There she goes. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. All things considered. I feel like, any day above ground's a good day,
I couldn't agree anymore.
Yep. So before we get into all this, I got a few questions to ask you. We're going to kind of do just a little quick interview, let people know who you are, where you're from, what you do, all the stuff. But before we do all that, I have this special thing that I do want to hit. It's an intro that I made. I think people will enjoy it. Let's go ahead and hit this real quick, and then we'll be right back. Intro. It's a very good intro. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Miss or Mrs. Navarro?
Miss.
Miss Navarro. All right, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name's Cindy Navarro. 30 years old. Um, I I became wheelchair bound I should say permanently about 4.5 years ago, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the reason for it being I had a condition called multiple sclerosis. And Actually, prior to that, I was actually slowly but surely declining, um, where I was able to walk a good distance, and then after a while, like my legs would give out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it got to a point where I could only walk briefly, and then I had to use assistance from a walker, a cane, um, to the point where I could no longer walk. And um, actually, about almost 9 years ago in August, I actually had a surgery done for a brain tumor. Uh,
Oh man.
12 plus, yeah, 12 plus hour surgery, which at first when I started declining, I thought that maybe it was a side effect from the surgery.
Right.
And after studies being done and, seeing different specialists, we finally concurred that I also had MS, and that was actually the reason for me becoming wheelchair bound.
Right.
Um,
Well, how old was you when you
um,
became wheelchair bound? I'm sorry if
I
that
was,
sounded somebody sharing. Thank you for that.
yeah, no worries. When I became permanent, like more permanent, like wheelchair bound, I was around 27 years old.
Oh,
27
okay.
years
So
old.
it's pretty recently then, not too long ago.
Yeah, yeah, not too long ago. Um, but I finally got to a point in my life where uh, after focusing on my health and like getting everything in order and making sure like that was good, like finding new hobbies, like being out there and helping out the community,
Right.
uh, even if it's a little impact or big impact, as, as long as I'm able to do any sort of good and give back, then I'm all for it.
Right. Right. For sure. 100%. I feel you. That's kind of where, I mean, I came up with this idea, the whole wheelchair mafia, thing. I mean, wheelchair mafia is not mine, but I feel like we could do good with that by saying we stand up for those who can't stand for themselves. And there's something we can do every day to even help people. By us doing this right now, I feel like we're going to help somebody that's newly injured that wants to look at something with somebody else. That's what I wanted when I first got injured back in 2019. Um,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just feel that a lot of times we don't necessarily have the resources when we first get injured, or so we're kind of like ignorant or like don't know where to look at
well,
when it
we're
comes to
stuck.
this
We're
kind of
lost.
stuff.
I feel like, yeah. Yeah. All right. So that kind of answers my first question, which is how did it happen? Um, and man, MS is what they call it, right? Multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
I've known about that for a long time. I don't really know if I've known really many people with it. But is it painful at all, or is it like?
I feel it's not always painful, but just like a spinal cord injury, we tend to have days where we also get like the pins and needles types of feeling.
Right.
Um, and there's like four different kinds of MS, and I have progressive relapsing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so for me, I can't feel from here down, but I
Right.
still have like minor like core strength. Um,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so and like I know it varies from person to person, but
Yeah, that's
I
one thing
just
I've known
learned
about
to
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
all have
like I just
everybody's
learned
is
to
different. It's
adapt.
never the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely.
one thing I did want to say is I went to look at your pictures earlier to figure out what we were gonna do about introductions and stuff, and I started swiping, and like the first picture I swiped to was like a whole crowd of people lifting you up over their head, and you're at a like concert jamming with your hands up, out there having a good time. What was that? Tell us about that.
That was actually a rave. It's called that one was actually Escape, which they usually do like around Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Where is
yeah, it
this
was
at?
it
What
was
state
a
is that
pretty
in?
cool. In California, in San Bernardino.
Oh, okay, nice. All the way from Cali, out
Yeah,
there on the
yeah,
West Coast.
yeah. So I was able to get two free tickets. There's this company at I believe it's called I don't recall it's accessible something. I'll have to get back to you on
All
the
right.
but yeah they they help out people with disabilities like have access to different types of raves, concerts, and different like venues types of stuff.
Right. Get out there
And it
and
was actually yeah it was actually my first time actually going to a rave.
nice.
And a funny thing, I was actually like on the way there, I was telling my friends it'd be really cool. I was like, it'd be really cool, like if I actually got picked up and like I did like crowd surfing or something. I was like, I doubt it'll happen, but that would be really cool. And somewhere along the lines, like everybody like started like pushing me forward, and like everybody was super friendly, and everybody was like, "Oh, let's pick her up." And
Nice.
like, you know, yeah, I even got to connect with the DJ that was on on stage while that was going on, and he actually put me like in his Instagram page and all that.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I thought it was really cool. I mean, like first experience, and I got to do all that. So
Right. Yeah, you can't beat that. I've never been to a concert yet in my wheelchair, but I've heard that we get like really good seating if you go to like a good like a theater or something like that. They have handicap accessible, which is usually close to the stage. We went to a comedy show, which was not bad, but I do want to do some more some more rock and shows and stuff. I've never been to a rave. Raves are just I feel like there's too many people. And you never know if these people are on. They could be on shrooms, acid. You never know. I don't know. I've never been to one.
yeah, I feel you. Honestly, I feel like it's like that with even like concerts.
Right.
Um, like I've only ever been to one concert, and that was when I was still able-bodied. But
So
yeah, I feel like with every event, it comes with a little bit of everything. You just need to be able to.
yeah, you got to be able to put yourself out there. You got to be able to take the risk and take the chance because you never know what's going to happen. Most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, you're going to have a great time.
Definitely, definitely.
Yep. So my next question is, I don't know. For you, it might be different. For a different spinal cord injury person that's like been in it for a while, I don't know. Maybe. If you could, would you walk? If you could take all back that you've done since you've been in a wheelchair, and just go all the way back, you know what I'm saying, and be able to walk, would you do it?
Definitely. I feel like I would. I
I feel
mean,
it.
I
Yeah.
would honestly, I would have loved to definitely go back, and then especially in my case, since they took a minute before they found out what was going on with me.
Right.
Um,
definitely go back and like make me aware of like what was going on, and then like being able-bodied, and then even know, like I would have loved to know everything I know now,
Right.
and that way, like either way, like help out the community in any way I can. Right now I'm an ambassador with a foundation called Triumph Foundation. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Mm-mm.
Uh, but they help recently injured people, and like kind of to give them hope that for a better tomorrow. And
Right. Of
we
course. Yeah.
visit them at like we visit them at rehab centers and kind of give them like a backpack
No, that's
with
awesome.
resources, um, and
You'll have to send me that. If you have a link, I'll put it on the thing here.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
My next question is kind of like, I don't know. You're really kind of a new guest on here, and it's cool because it's like we are all wheelchair users. You're not a spinal cord injury per se, but you do still have opinions on. So like dating, you know, boyfriend, husband, wife, stuff like that. Do you find that it's like easy, hard? Is it something that you're not trying to get into? Like how would you think now that you're wheelchair bound? Does it give you, are you more or less apt to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I am dating somebody right now.
Okay.
Um, and to be honest, even when you're able-bodied, like I feel like it can be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, of course.
more so now being wheelchair bound, because it's not just being in a wheelchair. There's a lot of stuff that comes with being wheelchair bound that like people don't typically know.
Right.
Um, and yeah, like honestly, I did. I tried it. It's one of those things where I tried it, and like I kept giving up hope. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, this isn't like people are too immature in this generation to even start dating.
Right.
But yeah, but I ended up doing a lot of like going doing a lot of like online dating type of stuff.
Oh, the online dating. See, I was lucky enough to find my love a long time ago before that was a huge thing. So I never had to
Yeah.
experience online dating, and I'm glad. But I hear it can be good and bad, I guess.
Honestly, like I've never been big on online dating, but especially after COVID, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. You never know. If something happens, great. If something doesn't, then it is what it is.
Right.
But yeah, we actually started talking about a year ago in August, and then
And he's
we hit it
able-bodied,
off.
or
Yeah,
she,
he's
or
able-bodied.
okay, okay.
Yeah, he's able-bodied, and yeah, we started talking like last August, and we became official in December.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Congratulations.
it's one of those. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those rare souls, Like
Right.
he's very understanding and very open, and he's willing to help me out with everything.
Nice. I feel like in the sea of the world of people that's just in there, it's like it's rare to find those who are what I'd like to call part of the wheelchair mafia. That's going to help you out and be there, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm glad that I found my love before, and she stuck with me, and like she's really what helped me kind of get through all this stuff so quickly. I know a lot of people that end up in wheelchairs. It's real bad for them, and they don't have nothing to look forward to. They think, and they want to just focus on the bad. But like, you never know. I mean, in a year's time, anything could change. Anything could happen. So,
Yeah.
congratulations on that for sure. The next question that I have for you is, since you've been in a wheelchair, what are your pet peeves of like what people do, or like where you've been, or what's some of the pet peeves that you found being in a wheelchair that kind of bothers you?
I feel like I have two main pet peeves. Uh, the first one being when I'm out and about, people tend to have a habit of, here, let me help you. And like they just start kind of like pushing my wheelchair.
Yeah. grabbing the
type of
handles and trying
situation.
to push you along. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand they're coming from a good place. Don't get me wrong; they just want to help out. But it's like I'm trying to be independent as a person,
Right.
and I want to do things on my own. Like, yes, obviously being wheelchair bound, it's something I tell people. Like, yes, there's gonna, like, I know there's gonna be moments where I am gonna need help, and I don't mind needing that help. Like, I don't have a big old ego that's gonna be like, no, don't help me, you know.
Right.
But if I can do it on my own, I would love to do it on my own. You know, become as independent as possible.
Oh, for sure,
Uh,
100%. That's one of the things I like about. Um, sorry if you hear that. That's somebody sharing. I don't know why it's just super loud, but it's there. Like one thing, that's what I like about being in a power chair most times because like I drive myself, so it's like my van is equipped for me to roll my power chair in and lock it in and go to these places so I can go out for long periods of time. I like about being out is because nobody's going to try to push you. But I understand where you're coming from because I also have a manual chair. And one thing I've noticed in the back is that mine, if you hit it and click it, the handles come down. Does yours do that?
no, mine don't. But actually, I reached like about 2 weeks ago. I got an upgrade on my wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually like I still have the handles, but it's way lower. So
Oh,
most
nice.
people are like they don't
They
want
don't
to
want
be
to bend
like
down.
hunching over type of situation. You know.
Awesome. Awesome. Heck yeah. Well, hey, that's a good one. That's a good pet peeve. That's the first one
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
that.
But yeah, the other situation, and I feel like that's anybody in a wheelchair, is like people who park in the handicap
Oh
stalls,
my gosh, I hate it.
you
Yeah.
know, or the loading zone.
Right, right. Where you're supposed to be able to
Yeah,
like
like
side load or something like that. Because I have a side loading van, so that's what I have to deal with all the time.
yeah, and their typical response when you try and tell them it's like, "Oh, I was just gonna be quick." I'm like,
I'll be right back. It's like, also, let me wait here while you go do your shopping, and then I'll just fry in the sun or
yeah,
whatever.
and you know, like 99% of the time, it's never really quick because once you're in there, you're like, "Oh shoot, since I'm here, like let me get this one other thing," you know.
Right, right. Of course. Of course. Yep. You're right. Hey, man, those are good. Those are good pet peeves. I mean, because that last one is mine too. I just had to deal with that not too long ago. All right. So the next one I have for you is what is something that you wish you could do now that you're in a wheelchair that you can't necessarily do very good or at all that you used to be able to do, or maybe just something
Um,
that you just want to do that you can't do. I don't know. What would you say that would be?
well, to be honest, well, like what I used to be able-bodied, my stress relieving used to be running.
Oh,
Um,
like triathlons or just jogging?
yeah, it was just running. Like I used to do cross country when I was in high school,
Okay.
and like even after high school, like I would just like I enjoyed the freedom of going and running and just being able to like clear my mind. I mean, I did other sports too. Don't get me wrong, but that was like my main straight like stress reliever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely. I mean, like now I've managed to like find other ways to relieve that stress. You know, it took me a minute, but that's like the one thing I always tell people: if I were to walk the day of tomorrow, that's one of the first things I would
You
do is
just
like
run.
run.
You keep running.
Yeah,
Nice. See, like when I think about it, and when you think about it, you can remember what it feels like. You can remember what your hamstrings and your calf muscles and all that feels like when you're running and the impact of the ground on your feet. Like I remember that. Some people they've been in a wheelchair a lot of their life and they don't have that memory, but I absolutely know what you're talking about. Like I think about that a lot too. It's crazy. It's something that you kind of just got to say, okay, well, like I used to play golf. Now I can't play golf. So I'm like, well, what else do I do to help myself, free my time? So luckily I just started podcasting. This is fun. Also Frisbee. You ever play Frisbee?
just for fun, like at the park.
Right. Yep. You got to get into something. That's one thing. If I could give, any advice, I would say definitely you got to find something to get into. You can't just sit back and watch TV all day and be, sitting on your butt. That's one thing they taught me in rehab was you got to get up and do something. You can't sit in bed. You got to get mobile.
Yeah, I could agree with that 100%. I feel, especially in the beginning, even though it's tough, like you just gotta like push through it type of situation.
Right.
And that way, once you're solid, you'll be able to like focus on the next big thing.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So pretty much like I just said, like my piece of advice, and I mean I got many of them, but like if you had to give advice to like a newly injured person, somebody that just got injured, or somebody like maybe that was in your situation where they just got wheelchair bound, what would you say to that person?
Uh, don't give up hope. No matter how hard it gets. Like I know with a lot of people, like it hits harder than others.
Mm-hmm.
Depending like on the lifestyle that they had prior to it. Like I know for me, for example, like I didn't really get into a depressive state because of this. Like yeah, I've had moments where yes, it was difficult because you're used to like even the simplest things like changing feel like that, and
Right.
now all of a sudden
Instant
takes you a
gratification.
good minute to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just say not giving up hope and just work on yourself. It's the main thing you can do. And like I feel like a lot of people say that, but I feel like as long as you focus on yourself to become a better version of you, even with this new lifestyle, everything else will fall into place.
Right. I sincerely do believe that as long as you keep up hope and you don't give up, there's a spot in this world for everybody, and everybody has a story. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a path. It just depends on how they choose to take it. That's how I feel anyway. Man, this has been interesting. So pretty much out of my questions, that's all I had for questions, but I did want to ask you, the other picture that I seen on your profile was you had like a helmet on, some knee pads, and you were like at a skate park. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I still maintain myself active. Like now that I became more stable and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like the two main sports that I do now is WCMX, which is what you saw, which is like skateboarding in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's and like like practically every sport with a disabled community, each each sport has its unique chair that you use. Like like that one has suspensions, and it's right under the seat, and like you could uh adjust them accordingly,
Oh, so
obviously.
you got like springs and shocks under the seat. That's helping you out,
Yeah.
like suspension going over the. Man, see, I didn't know that. I thought you were just in a rigid frame going nuts in a skate park. I'm like, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no, it's like on my dead nature. I think all these things about break.
Oh man, if you didn't have a spinal cord injury, you might come out of there with one doing one of the rigid frames. I'm telling you.
It's just one of those things. Like I know in the beginning when I first told my folks about it, they're kind of like, I don't know, that seems kind of sketchy, and I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm already wheelchair bound, like.
Right. How much worse can it really get? Like, let me just
Yeah.
try it and see what happens. Is there any kind of like videos or anything that you got going on that people can check out or?
I have a couple videos and stuff and pictures on my Instagram.
Okay.
Uh,
What's your Instagram?
Nava- Navarro Sin, NAVARROCIN 92.
Okay.
For those of you that want to check it out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't post on any one thing in specific. That's my life in general.
Right.
From doing WCMX, doing rugby, just going to like concerts or like just going to different places. Uh, I like to think of it as like my digital like photo album per se.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And like for anybody that wants to follow, it's just one of those where don't give up hope. That's my inspiration to the world. Like you could, I like yeah, it sucks. You can't do the majority of the stuff you used to, but a lot of the stuff you can still adapt to it and still have fun. And like that's pretty much what my Instagram shows. I'm still going out doing different things out and about with my friends, and I'm not letting this disability stop me.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I do. I'm happy that people like you are out there and you're sharing pictures and stuff like that, because I'll be honest with you, at first when I was in the hospital and I seen all this stuff and all these pictures of people doing stuff, I'm like, I'll never be able to do that. I thought I was just going to be able to sit on the porch, and not do anything, watch traffic go by, until the days went by and I got stronger and I was able to do certain things, and kind of do the stuff for myself. But 100% applaud you for that, though. Like, you've done more things that I could even think about doing. Like, you're not putting my ass in no soft, rigid, or non-rigid with shocks under a wheelchair going through a skate park, because I couldn't do that. That's not even with without a wheelchair. I was never a skate park guy. I was always like, I'm good. I don't want to fall and break my leg or something. But for sure, I appreciate you coming on. I encourage everybody to check out her Instagram. Check her out on Facebook. She's on there, Cindy Navarro. Navarro. Right?
Yeah.
Yup. And then do you have any YouTube pages or anything? You ever thought about doing a YouTube?
I've been thinking about it. I haven't started it yet, but I've been thinking about starting my own YouTube, and just because I work out too.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've been thinking about starting my YouTube channel, and then just doing different workouts, and how I kind of do it, even though I'm built about. I don't know if it taught me, and I used to actually go to the gym, but after COVID, then I had some gym stuff here, so I still have bench press, and I'm
and you still do all that. You still do the bench press and free weights and all that.
Yeah. So I it's something I want to start doing, my own YouTube channel. Just kind of showing different exercises, and how I won't let my MS stop me, and how I just adapt, to different scenarios, and still am able to do the different workouts.
Right.
Yeah, I get. I know for a lot of people, they hate leg day, and that's a joke I always make. It's I get to skip leg day.
What's funny is I actually have a sign on the back of my wheelhouse, because this right here, if you look, this is kind of my thing, my little man cave / thing that I call the wheelhouse. It's an old boat barn, but I have these pictures all over the place, and on the back wall it actually says "No day is leg day," and on the O, on the NO, it's a wheelchair guy. So it's funny. It is a funny thing. But yeah, no. So what's funny is my sister actually said, when I posted this online, she said, that girl's got some guns. And I kind of noticed it. So what do you do? Do you do resistance bands, or you got all kinds of stuff, or how do you do? What's your specifics in working out?
No, well, actually, I do weights. So
just free weights. Okay.
Yeah. So for biceps, I lift 15s. For shoulders, I lift 15s also. For triceps, I'll use. I also use 15s, and then I'll do dips. I'm still trying to get the hang of trying to do with resistance. That's kind of core workouts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still something I'm working on. That way, once I do start that YouTube channel in the future, it's something I could show on there, and then that way, whether people have MS or spinal cord injury or whatever it may be, they can use those types of things, and be all right.
For sure. Well, yeah, if once you get that started, just let me know, and we'll be glad to help you out, plug you out, let people know where you're at and stuff like that. I want to have everybody that's been on the Wheelchair Wednesdays come back periodically. We'll check in with you, see how everything's going. So as far as that goes, I don't have any more questions for you. I don't see anybody that's live that's asking any questions, but we've had some viewers so far. There's going to be more viewers to come. Is there anything you would like to close with?
I think that's about it. Just, reminding people, don't give up hope. If you guys, for those listening, if you guys ever need, someone to, vent to, I'm more than happy to be that person also. I'll put the Triumph Foundation link on here also. That way, people who need extra resources go on there and
Yes.
get the help that they need with whatever it is. Because honestly, the foundation helps with many things, with going back to work, going starting to drive again. You know, like anything. They
Right.
have all the kinds of resources that ones may need.
That is awesome. For sure. 100% do that. And like I said, we'll be glad to have you back and kind of check in with you and see how everything's going here in the coming months. And with that, I'm going to say, hold on with me. I'm going to go ahead and we'll end this out, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more, and then we'll be good to go. All right, folks, thanks for watching. We're going to go ahead and we're going to finish up with her, and then make sure to check this out. Make sure to share it out to everybody. Go ahead, like, and subscribe, and we'll be back next Wednesday with another special guest. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.